Rancho del Lago 2021, and I'm CheryLynn. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. I want to cover a little bit more about construction today. I've had many people contact me and say, okay, I'm understanding a little bit more about buying land, but where do I start? What do I do? You've said that construction is very, very different in Mexico, not what I'm used to in the US, so where do I begin? Well, I do have a couple of earlier videos that you might want to watch on construction. One where I was interviewing an architect, another one where I said, I wish I knew these 10 things before building a house, and another one that I said, don't make my horrible mistakes. So that will give you a little bit of information before starting into what we're going to cover today. Please hang in all the way to the end of the video so that you don't miss any of the important stuff. And because I have a bonus for you, we have new residents here at the farm, and I would love to introduce you to them. I hope that you've been following along in my videos and have found interesting content, beneficial information for you if you're interested in building, starting a homestead, moving to Mexico, any of the above. And if you have, please subscribe and please like on the videos that you particularly enjoy. All of that helps the channel grow, and I do appreciate it. So let's talk a little bit about the different kinds of construction and foundation. Here, the traditional way of building is with brick and a covering of, I call it concrete. It's not really stucco. It's something in between. This is a very solid way of building, and I like it for a couple of things, and I don't like it for several things. One of the reasons I do like it is because it doesn't burn. And of course, the contents of your home could still burn, but the structure of your home, being concrete and brick, is not going to burn. So, not that we have really any fires that I'm in danger of, but you never know, because in the hottest parts of the year, we do have fires up on the mountains. And sometimes they do come all the way down the side of the mountain, close to where people live, and that can be very dangerous. I do like it for that. I like the kind of construction because it gets very, very hot here, and for the most part, we are an open air kind of society. Very few people looking over the total number of residents here in Mexico, Lakeside in particular. Very few of us have air conditioning. I don't. So it's a matter of ceiling fans, floor fans, good window placement, knowing if you're building your home, where the breezes come from and go, what's your cross ventilation. All of those things are very, very important. The exposure that you are getting with your home in just the right spots is going to make a big difference for you. One of the things that I don't particularly care for is that this kind of construction is astronomically heavy. So that makes your foundation ultra important. Given what I told you in the previous video about the ground here, and much of the ground where I am moves. I mean, it undulates. And when it does, obviously anything that's on top of it is going to move as well. And, kind of like if you're in an earthquake zone or something, is your building going to ride with it, or is it going to come apart because of it? So, that's extra important. The kind of foundation you have, of course, is going to make a big difference to how your home rides out that regular ground movement. And I was here for one earthquake, not directly here. It was far enough away that all we got was the ripples, but it scared me crapless because I'm from Florida and I had never been in an earthquake before. And when I felt the couch I was sitting on moving and I looked out the window and I saw my Jeep going like this in the driveway, I was pretty terrified. And it took me probably a couple of weeks to get my balance back again because you're just so disoriented after it. So that being one kind of construction. Now, the architect that I spoke with in the interview also said that you can have any kind of construction you want. I'm from Florida. We have a totally different kind of construction there. And if you move up north where it gets cold, there's a totally different kind of construction there. It's just depending on where you are because of the ground conditions, the weather conditions, the seasons, etc. That kind of tells you what kind of construction is probably best for where you live. Well, in Florida, all we had was a slab. There was not really anything underneath it unless you lived in a really super sandy area, and then you might want to build on pilings. Well, here, let me just talk about a couple of the different, maybe three of the different kinds of foundations that you can have. The foundation that was chosen for me by my builder, who did not consult an architect and did not consult an engineer, but lied to me and told me he did, was a huge hole in the ground, deep. See, I'm 5'8", so I'm going to guess it was close to 6.5, 7 feet deep. Okay. Then they filled it with large rocks and put medium-sized rocks over it and smaller rocks over that, all to fill in all the crevices and everything. And then sand over top of that to get back to ground level. Then on top of the ground level, they built about 1.5 feet up of dirt and then they surrounded it with concrete blocks and then put a cement slab in and built up from there. But that, as deep as it was, and as much as what was put in there, was not the right kind of foundation. It was not done in a way to support the weight of the home that I was building. And that was no secret because we had the plans for it. So I've had problems since because of the weight of the home, with more cracking than I should have because of the weight of the home on the ground that moves. Okay. Now, I mentioned pilings in Florida. One of the people in my neighborhood here chose to build on pilings. And guess what? They still get cracks. But what that is basically is they do the footprint of the home and dig down so many feet apart to put in these metal grid work things that have a name in Spanish, but I don't know what they're called in English. In any case, they put those in and then they put concrete forms around them to make big, thick concrete pilings. Then on top of the pilings, which only go to like ground level, they're down in the ground, and then they still put dirt and then a slab on top of that and then build on top of that. The third kind that I have seen is where they build without digging a complete hole, like what was done for mine, just around the perimeter of the home. They dig like a deep, deep ditch, and they put footers in. And those footers then support the house, and the slab basically just is on the ground within the footers, and it doesn't really have any extra support, which I think would have been worse than what I've got. But with those three different kinds of foundations, and there may be more that I'm just not aware of, but those are the three that I've seen in the building that I've witnessed. They are supposed to handle the kind of ground that you've got for the kind of house that you've got. And unfortunately, when you're building with this brick and concrete, because of its weight, not any of them, all three of those, including mine, in my neighborhood have continued to experience cracking. Now, you can build a construction type that you see elsewhere in the US, and that's not a problem. You can build drywall. You can build, with wood, although I wouldn't recommend wood because here we seem to have a whole lot of more critters that like to eat wood, not just termites, although we have plenty of those too. So I would recommend, if you were going to do that kind of construction, to choose in metal studs and instead of the wood, and perhaps still use drywall. I don't know. I know drywall is used. I've seen that being used. I don't know that these critters eat drywall, but they do eat wood. Or you can choose something very innovative and, going forward on a Mother Earth kind of level, where you do, sandbags or adobe or, any number of things. You can do that. And as the architect explained to me, you can have anything you want. You just pay more for it because the labor here knows this kind of construction, and they either have to learn the new kind of construction or you have to import people who know that kind of construction. So those are things to keep in mind when you're thinking about building a home. I was pretty adamant that I was going to design my own home because I've been involved in construction in Florida and a construction family, from the time I was little. So I did, but I knew that I needed an engineer / architect, 2 different people, hopefully, to set it up so that it was structurally sound here. And perhaps had my builder not cheated me out of that, I wouldn't be having the same problems with the house. So let that be a word of warning to you as well. You've got to ride herd on everything. You want to meet the architect, you want to meet the engineer, you want to get a copy of all of the documentation that they provide. So you're covered. That's the CYA in today's lesson. Okay, so if you have any questions about what I said, if I haven't explained completely, if you've done something already that you want to add information on, please comment. Comment on the video. I appreciate it. I do answer all comments. Be nice. Thank you. Because I have had 1 or 2 people who were less than stellar in their manners. And there's no need for that. So let's go ahead and switch topics and go meet the newbies. I have experimented with incubating eggs, and I started with ducks. And just in the last 2 days, we have had our little hatchings, and we have 6 new babies. So take a look at these. Okay, today is the day. We just got home, and look, we have 2 baby ducklings. I gotta keep the rest of the eggs warm because we want to make sure that more can hatch. Hope you enjoyed all the pictures of my new baby ducks. I think they're just adorable. They will be in the house for several weeks, and as it starts to get cooler, you see I've put a sweater on since I started the video. I do want to make sure that we don't lose any of these little ones from cold, because until they are feathered out, it's hard for them to deal with the cold temperatures. So we shall visit them again as they continue to grow. And I have 3 litters of bunnies that are due today and tonight. And so we'll see those in the next video. I hope you enjoyed your time with me today. Come back again soon, and please let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to do what I can to help. Have a great day.